Cool.
So,
Okay.
you got some notes from last time.
I have, yeah.
Let's have a look through that then.
Okay. Would you like me to obviously read it out loud? Because that will be helpful.
I bloomin' would, I know.
Right, okay. So, from last week, I wrote a reflective log.
Okay.
I just put today's session didn't go well. Felt quite disappointed with myself. Tried hard, but missed the point, I feel. I would give myself a 3 out of 10.
Okay.
On reflection of watching the session on YouTube, I was happy that I generally had an answer for most things. However, I missed the point. I didn't listen at all. I didn't deal with the pupil's needs and didn't pick up the faults as I should have.
Okay.
So from there, I've basically put, what do I want?
Yeah.
What do I personally want? Okay, I think the first thing is clarity. I think that's important. I want to be a better listener. I'd like to develop my own style and questions that suit me, and also which are most beneficial to the individual I'm with. I'd like to be happy and have fun in what I do.
Cool.
And ultimately, I want to watch my student grow and flourish.
Okay.
How I'm going to do that, my plan of action is to listen.
Okay.
I need to try and relax more, treat my learners individually, treat each and every situation as if it was at the time, dealing with every new situation as it comes, and the plan is to develop questions from answers listened to by the individual wanting learning.
Okay, cool. Excellent. So, in terms of helping you to get there,
Yeah.
to do that, what might we be able to do you think?
Ultimately, from reading what you've given me about the tennis, about the coaching,
our friend Mr. Galway.
yeah, about the subconscious and the conscious mind, I'd like to be still.
Okay. Define still for me.
Okay. I'd like to listen, and obviously from listening, obviously I've got to listen more anyway. From listening, build whatever I need to build from that.
Okay.
But with the stillness, what I mean is basically relax and just do things as they come, but in time.
Okay.
Rather than that, because I feel personally myself, don't know your opinion, but I know you have your own opinion, but you're probably not going to give me it with the situation it is. My opinion of myself is I am trying to plan too far ahead of what could possibly happen, and at times I might have planned so far ahead and got myself in a bit of a muddle, it might not even happen. So
you mark yourself a 3 out of 10.
I did.
What do you think you need to do to get that a higher score?
I think the first thing I need to do is listen.
Okay. So how can we set up, if you like, some exercises today or some things to do that might help you do that?
I thought generally you could play different roles.
Okay.
Not accents or get dressed up or anything, just,
I quite like that though.
I do as well. I've got some stuff in my car, but obviously...
We'll do that when the camera's off.
Alright, fair play, yeah. Basically, I think if you could play certain roles, we could go from there.
Okay. And in terms of the skills that you're trying to develop, the sort of listening skills, or this the ability to almost live in the moment, as you're saying.
Yeah.
Have you done anything before in life that where you've applied that?
I have, yeah. I've had things with my life, different things I've done. If we're talking conscious and subconsciously how to do things,
yeah.
I used to be a parachute staff member at Neverhaven Parachute Centre, and we used to train people. And through that I became a parachute stroke skydiver as well.
All right.
I went through the system, which used to be called the warp system, to learn how to skydive.
Kind of got to get that right first time, haven't you?
It's a big thing. Pulling's always a bonus because it's not good if you don't. But I subconsciously I just did. But I got to a point within the system where I came out of that and started to think, how do I do this? And from doing that, I found that it made it worse, because if it didn't happen, I got more frustrated. So then the next time I went up for a jump, I would be, like a coiled spring, I'd be like, is this going to work? Is it not going to work? I've already set myself up for a fail. And 9 times out of 10 being like that, it probably would go that way, to the point where I just thought, what have I done so far? I've just sort of done, and it's either worked or it hasn't, but 9 times out of 10 it did. So it was basically turning. So 360 degree turn in the sky. And you can do that with your feet, you can do it with your arms by dipping your arms, etc. And I just did. I didn't think, I just did, and it worked. And a similar thing when I used to do martial arts a long time ago, but when I used to do martial arts, me Thai boxing and me stick and knife fighting, a lot of the moves are complex, but when you think of how to do it, it doesn't work. Whereas if you just do, 9 times out of 10 you can follow through and it does work, or it's easy to evaluate where you went wrong rather than going, right, I need to do this and I need to do that, and then that's going to happen. A lot of martial artists play chess,
right,
and it helps them coordinate themselves and work ahead and see what's coming and prevent what's coming.
So in terms of, if I can just ask, when you're talking about like turning 360 degrees, and you said you didn't
with the jumping,
you didn't think, you just did.
Yeah.
Can you just clarify that for me a little? Talk me through it, if you like.
Well, with skydiving, it's with a lot of things. When you're doing formation skydiving, which is basically your turns, etc., everybody's got a jumpsuit on and they've got like grips on their arms and legs, and you try and do different formations and you score points for doing so. And turns is part of that. You've got to be able to turn to get onto someone else.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So what they do is it's like a dirt dive, and basically there's like a board of wheels on it.
Oh, yeah.
And you all lie on it and you basically go through what position you should be doing in the sky.
Right, okay. Like a dry run.
Like a dry run, yeah. But 9 times out of 10 that works.
Okay.
As opposed to thinking about what I'm going to do, because everybody's a different weight, so you have to compensate for that. So you might have somebody that's 10 stone, you might have somebody that's 15 stone, you might have somebody that's heavy. People fall at different heights, and you've got to vary your position so that you all fall together. But if you think about all of that, and then you trying to combine movement and how people are going to act, etc., it doesn't work. But whereas doing that, it does. So that's more, to me, subconscious.
Right, so
there's thought to it, but there's not. It sort of flows.
Okay, yeah, so you're kind of not overthinking it.
No, you're just sort of doing it.
Right, okay. And did you find that was more successful than...
Yeah, generally, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you'd have a bad day, don't get me wrong. And you sort of chalk it off and go...
We all have those, don't we?
Yeah, you think, alright, okay.
You can't have too many bad days in skydiving, though, can you?
No. Obviously, the pulling element's always a good thing, I've had a pull at this point. You've got an altimeter, and some people have got datas and stuff, which is basically set for a certain height for you to pull.
Okay. So in terms of trying to use that
analogy,
methodology, if you like, that way of finding your way through it, how could we set that up here?
What, in the skydiving thing? I mean,
in terms of what you're trying to do with the instructions.
Yeah. I get that. Yeah. Basically, I think it'd be helpful just to go out for a bit and just go through a couple of scenarios.
Okay.
And just act upon them as they are, and not. If anything, I think too much, and on top of that, I'll think again.
Okay.
And I don't think that necessarily helps.
Okay.
It doesn't. Well, it plainly. It doesn't for me. It might help. It might work for some people, but I think if you over-egg things, 9 times out of 10, you're probably up against it.
Yeah. I mean, I think
if something else comes into the equation,
sure.
What happens?
Yeah. I think I'd like to kind of put on record, if you like, that I think it's amazing the amount of detail you've been able to soak up and retain.
Thanks.
And call on and just bang, you fire stuff. I mean, that's actually quite impressive. But it's, as you've come to the conclusion that that's maybe not necessarily as helpful for you, and you need to be more...
If anything, I feel it's tripping me a bit. I've got all that.
Okay.
But it's like, I've got that vast bit there. I just need to pick that bit there and that bit there. But I've got that. And I'm like, well, just try and give you that there. And you're like, what? It don't work. Yeah. It ain't working for me getting it across. And it isn't going to work for the person. All right, thanks for giving me that entire book. What am I doing with that?
Yeah.
I'm not taking that little bit out of there, and a little bit of there, and going, you need that. Why? Oh, right, okay. Oh, I see what you mean now. Rather than going, this is registration, this is.
So you want to try and maybe set up a couple of scenarios where we can kind of just get into that. Have you any? Would that be right? You just want to like.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so.
What our friend Mr. Galway calls a structured experience, where we set something up, we have a go at it, we review it, we maybe learn from it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm obviously conscious of people watching this, I'm conscious of people judging me. At the end of the day, I'm doing my best. But I know that. Hi. I know that this is going to help them, and on reflection, when I watch this back, it's going to help me. The previous lesson did, the lesson before that did. I thought the initial lesson went okay, I was relatively happy with what I did. Second time round, I was like, Urgh.
Well, I mean, I think you also have to appreciate that you're making some, they might not seem like big changes, but they are.
Yeah.
And it takes time. It's not, you know, what is it we say? You can't make an omelette without breaking eggs.
No, true.
It's, you know. So what sort of scenario do you think would help you? Now, it doesn't have to be, just to clarify, it doesn't have to be an exam scenario. It could be just anything. No,
I thought that. I mean, what I'm trying to do is cater for whoever's next to me, whether it be a student, whether it be somebody that's just about to have the test, whether it's somebody that's actually a full licence holder, that's like, well, if I'm honest with you, I'm having trouble with this. All right, then, no probs. We'll look at that. Why? Or an examiner. I'm trying to cater it for each individual, but try and have the same relative questions and that same sort of... Yeah. But obviously then give me time to think and then time to reflect on things myself. But ultimately, I want to see the person next to me gain knowledge and then flourish, and then, you know, and if then they don't, then we need to pull over and go, oh, where's it going wrong? Is it me? Have I said too much, or what have you got? Let's break it down. So I'm trying to trying to build my own format, my own way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
so it works for me.
So there's two aspects to being able to be a coach, to be a client-centered trainer, call it whatever you want. There's a process that you apply, which is, you know, a little routine that you run through. What do you want to do? How do you want to do it? What have you done so far that helps? Blah, 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 all of that kind of stuff. There's all sorts of models, GROW, T-GROW, OSCAR, there's loads of them. So you can be a coach by applying that principle, by leading somebody through that process. But you can also become a coach, which is finding a way of being, which is, and I think this is the big difference. We need to be thinking all the time about, how can I help you best? What is it you need from me? And how can I help you get the way you want to be? And it's only a subtle change in thinking, but I think it makes a big difference. Now, in terms of the listening end of things, I mean, have you got an idea about what experience we might do for that?
I think the sort of fleet drive the other day was all right. I think where I went wrong, I mean, we could do this today. I think where I went wrong is like you said. Despite the fact I took notes, I didn't ask you, right, are you comfortable with me taking notes? I asked you that, but I didn't say, right, what I'm going to do is we're going to go out for a drive. You're going to drive 15-20 minutes. Do you want me to pick you up every time, or would you feel that would be detrimental to your driving? Would that put you at ease, or to me, would it put you a bit more under pressure? How would you feel about that? Would you like me to do that or not? Or would you like me just to do it at the end?
Sure.
How would you feel?
I think that's clarity of what we're about to do is so important. If you think about it, if you're taking a step into the unknown, you feel uncomfortable. You instinctively go like, whoa, hang on, what's going on here? But if you know what you're getting yourself into, you know, if somebody just took you on an airplane and threw you out, you'd be like, what? I'm not getting out there.
Yeah.
But if you've had time to think about it and get it set up, okay, I need to do this. So I think the first thing we need to be able to help somebody is clarity about, well, what is it we're doing here? What are we hoping to get out of this? How are we going to measure whether it's successful? And then how are we going to review it? When are we going to review it? Are we going to have 2 loops around the block and then stop? Or are we going to have 3? Or are we just going to do it on the move? You know, what is it that you sort of want to work on? Now, the thing you've highlighted is listening. Now, and here's something else. As a trainer, or call yourself what you like, if I want to be here and I want to help you, I could bounce questions off you all day until you come up with something that I think may be useful. Then we're on my agenda. So sometimes as a trainer, you can have input. It isn't necessarily always about the learner. And let me give you for example. If I was to say to you, okay, you want to work on your listening, would you mind if I make a suggestion? How about we run through a controls lesson, and as you're explaining each control, I'll change the level of knowledge I've got.
Yeah,
that might even change my attitude.
That'd be good. Yeah.
And then you've got to kind of work out what you've got next to you, which is going to force you to listen. Would that be something you think might help?
Yeah.
So how will we review it? Do you want to get through the whole thing? Do you want to just stop after we've done the foot pedals and have a think about it and a chat about it and run through the reflective cycle? Or do you just want to play it by ear and see how we go?
Either or, I don't mind. I think that's a good scenario. I like that. Because it can vary, because everybody does, don't they? Yeah, I had somebody the other day, and I had a preconceived idea about them that they might have driven certain things, and they hadn't. And
Right.
it was my perception of, because we all do this, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
We all look at people and go, I'm putting you in this little box, and you go, okay. And so straight away, I thought, oh, well, she might be able to do this, she might be able to do that. Never done it.
Yeah.
So who am I to, go? But obviously, everybody's got preloaded with preconceived ideas of this and that. Basically, she'd been in a car as a passenger, but other than that, she had no experience. But if I'm honest with you, it made absolutely no difference in the way she was. If anything, I thought she was really good.
Sometimes a blank sheet of paper is the best thing to start with.
Yeah. Well, like you say, if somebody's done a little bit some of the other way, it can go against it, because it's like, well, somebody else told me this. Well, my other driving instructor told me I've got to look at the bench counter.
Yeah.
Why? Well, because that's the best way of, setting your gas. By listening to your engine. Oh no, there's no mention of that.
Okay, so in terms of that, if you have a short stint where you want to run through the early part of the controls lesson, perhaps, and I'll chop and change the level of knowledge that I've got, and if the opportunity presents itself, maybe even change role, and then your job is to find out what I need and give me it. Does that seem reasonable?
Yeah.
All right, so you mark yourself a 3 out of 10 for listening.
Yeah.
So we'll keep that as a benchmark. Let's see if we can think about getting to a high level with that. So
Okay.
we'll just say that my name's Bob. Keep it simple.
Okay.
I've come to you. I'm due to do my controls lesson today. My dad's bought me some lessons with your driving school. Over to you.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Clark.
How you doing?
Not bad, not bad.
You all right?
I am, yeah. Quite
You're looking
excited.
forward to today, yeah?
I am.
Fab. So, just a little bit of background on yourself.
All right.
Have you done any driving at all?
No.
None whatsoever.
No, never been in a car. Well, I
Okay.
mean, I've been in a car, but I've never.
Yeah,
I've
you've
never driven
been a
car.
passenger, but you've not been there.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you owned a motorcycle at all or anything like that?
No.
No, you've been a cyclist.
I've got a push bike, yeah.
All right, and do you use that quite often?
Well, I ride it to college, yeah.
Right. So you'll have some idea of the MSN routine. I'll mention that later on, but basically it's your hazard drill.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Without even knowing it, you've been doing a bit on the roads anyway, just by purely having a bike.
All right, okay.
That'll come into play later on, but...
Oh, okay, right.
have you watched any tutorials at all, reference the lesson we're going to do today?
Well, I meant to, but I was going to watch that video, but I didn't get the chance.
Oh, that's fine, don't worry about it. So we're going to do a controls lesson today.
Okay.
So obviously we're going to get to know the car, you're going to get to know myself, and we're probably going to get to the car to biting point.
Oh, okay.
Okay, have you got any questions before you start?
No, I don't think so, no.
Are you happy to do this lesson now, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Keen.
Right, fantastic, lovely. Right, so what we're going to do, I'm going to take you through a few bits on the presenter.
Right.
Okay. If you've got any questions, please ask me.
Ready for?
And we're going to go through that, and then we're going to change over places, and we're going to find somewhere relevant. We could possibly do we could do it here actually. Just find the biting point, yeah.
All right, okay. Yeah.
Okay, you happy with that?
Yeah.
Fab. Right. Okay, so I'm just going to go for a presenter now.
Okay.
So as I say, if there's anything in particular you're not sure about, jump in there, and I'll try and explain the best way I can.
All right.
Okay.
Seems fair enough.
Lovely. All right then. So then, I'm just going to go for the cockpit drill. Have you heard that before?
Isn't that what pilots do?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. basically, for the sake of argument, this is our cockpit. Okay, right. This is our cockpit for the sake of argument. Okay. Similar thing, but yeah. And we do. There's an acronym, and I do it a certain way, and I try and do it the most logical way.
All right. Okay.
Okay. So as I say, basically, we start off with doors.
Right.
Yeah. So before we get into the vehicle, obviously we have a good look round.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we usually start off, we're obviously in the vehicle now, but if we were outside the vehicle, we'd start off from the back of the vehicle. Do you know why?
No.
No. Well, basically, we have a good look round first, yeah? And then we're going to go to the doors. And when the doors open, the doors open that way.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? So, I'm just going to check my mirror and open this door. The doors open that way. Could you see an issue if you were at the front of the vehicle and coming round that way to your door? No. So if you were at the front of the vehicle coming round to your door, bearing in mind the door opens that way, you'd have to go right round your door to get in.
Right.
So there's a bit of a safety thing there, isn't there?
Is there? Right.
Do you get that or not?
No.
You know, so you parked at the side of the road,
Yeah.
or even parked in a car park, and if you're walking from the front of the vehicle, you open your door this way out, and then obviously, you know, there's more room for somebody to possibly hit you as opposed to from the back where you can see where you're coming from. And then open the door and get into the car a little bit quicker and a little bit safer.
All right. Okay.
Do you understand that or not?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Right, okay. So, as I say, so the first thing we do is doors, okay? So, how do you know your door's closed?
Well, it makes like a solid plunk, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
And you can also obviously grab hold of the handle, make sure it's closed. Do you know how else you could go through and make sure your door's closed?
Well, I suppose if it wasn't, this light would be on, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
If the door was open.
Yeah.
And I might be able to see in the mirror.
That's right, yeah. And what can you see at mirror now?
Well, it's like a straight line down the rubber, isn't it?
So, if it wasn't closed...
So that'd be like a...
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Another way of telling, obviously all modern cars, obviously we've done all our checks first, but for the sake of argument, your door wasn't closed properly, you turn the engine on, 9 times out of 10 you get a warning light or you get a beeping.
Oh, my dad's car does that.
Yeah, exactly, so if his door's not shut, you'll know
right.
that.
Okay.
Okay, so we do doors. And then the next thing, obviously you sat on, so we've come in, as we get in, I always check handbrakes on, and the gear stick's in neutral, and neutral's just straight across. You want to feel that? That's straight across. That's in neutral. Okay, so that we check that first. We get in, and obviously the next thing to do is adjust your seat.
All right.
Do you know how to adjust your seat at all?
Oh, well, there's a lever at the bottom here, isn't it?
Yeah. A good way of doing it, as I say, you can find your own way of doing it if you wish. But a good way of doing it is if you put your left hand on your steering wheel, right, and then you put your right hand in between your legs. There's a bar. If you pull the bar up,
All right. It's a bit awkward because I'm left-handed.
well, that's fine. You can, by all means, try it the other way then.
I can use
Put your
the
right,
right hand?
yeah, of course you can, yeah. So right hand on there, get hold of the bar, and then what you need to do is pull it forward, because what the aim is to scooch forward so that your left foot can touch the left-hand pedal, and that's your clutch. And what you need to do is you need to be able to put your left foot all the way down quite comfortably. Now, does that feel a bit of a stretch? It looks a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, that feels all right.
Does it? You quite happy with that?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So that pedal is worked by that foot. Okay? We'll come back into that in a bit. Okay. And your right foot works the far right hand pedal. Do you know what that is?
That's the accelerator, isn't it?
Yeah, bang on, yeah. Fantastic. That's your gas pedal.
Yeah.
And what's the one in the middle?
That's your brake pedal, isn't it?
Yeah. So both of those pedals are worked by your right foot. And what you do is you just go from your gas pedal to your brake pedal. Okay? So you just, that's it. Just on the ball of your foot.
Right.
You happy with that?
Yeah, I think
Right,
so.
okay. So basically you should have a good bend to your knee. Should be able to reach your pedal, so obviously you've got to be able to. The next thing is, how are you for height? You look okay to me, but obviously I want your opinion. You know, for looking out of the vehicle.
Yeah, I think it's all right, yeah.
Yeah, so you've got quite a good vision, you're quite happy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so, yeah.
The next thing is the rake of the seat. You know what it means by that?
That thing you use in the garden.
Similar, yeah. For this is basically you're bringing your seat more forward, so you're not quite as reclined. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you're reclining like that, if you put both your hands on the steering wheel, yeah, okay, both hands on the steering wheel, you should have a good bend to your arm, and you should have your back should be up against your seat, and your head should be with your head restraint, at least to the eyes and ears, the height. Yeah. That looks okay for me. You're happy with that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Right. You can adjust that by some buttons. I'm assuming those are buttons. I'm not familiar with this vehicle, but so you can adjust that up or down if you find it necessary.
All right.
But it needs to be up as far as it can, but it's still got to be comfortable.
Right. Okay.
Do you know why?
It's to stop you like getting whiplash, isn't it? If you get
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's protecting your neck. It's also protecting your back. So, worst case scenario, if you're in an accident, obviously that's there. You're going to have less injuries. So that's your seat. The next part of it is your steering. Well, you've already put your hands on the steering wheel.
Yeah.
We have our hands at 10 to 2 generally, depending on the steering wheel, and it depends on the spokes of the steering wheel.
About there.
It is about there, but obviously because this has got steering lock on, when it's straight, the wheel will, let's say that T shape there, it'll be straight like that. And you have your hands about 10 to 2, just so it's comfortable. You also put your thumbs outwards. Do you know why?
Just go at a roll there.
Yeah.
Look at my hands.
Okay.
Where are they?
They're already there.
Where's my thumbs?
Already there.
Do you need to tell me about it?
No.
Good, back and roll.
Okay. So you've got quite a good bend to your arms. Does that feel comfortable?
It does. Yeah, that feels alright. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Lovely. So that's the next thing we need to do.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. And now, what we need to do now is your seatbelt. Now, I'm not trying to insult your intelligence. You've put a seatbelt on before. Are you quite happy to put your seatbelt on?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you put your seatbelt on now.
So I put it on at this side.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you know the rules of the seatbelt?
How do you mean?
Well, there's rules regarding, because you're a driver, there's rules regarding the seatbelt.
Oh.
Do you know them at all? Did you look at the highway code?
I've seen that. It's
right.
I've got to put mine on.
Yes.
And I've got to make sure anybody in the car who's under 14 has theirs on.
Fantastic.
Adults, it's on them.
Right, yeah.
I think I'd want to have them on anyway, really.
So what would you do in that position? You're the driver, you're in charge.
I'd ask them to put the seatbelt on.
Yeah, and if they didn't?
I'd insist.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't drive, I don't think. You don't want them flying around in the car.
Fantastic, exactly. Yeah, so it's safety. Driving's about safety. Obviously, you put your seatbelt on perfectly. What if you put it on a bit skew-iff like that, a little bit coiled up? What would happen there?
It might cut you and it might not operate properly.
Exactly, yeah. Fantastic, yeah. Okay. So you have to wear your seatbelt at all times, unless, do you know the exception?
Oh, I read about this. Is it if you're doing a manoeuvre that includes a reverse?
Yes. So if you're doing a reversing manoeuvre, you can take your seatbelt off, so that it's easier for you to see. Because obviously, if we're reversing, where we're looking.
We're behind.
Exactly. So we're looking behind. You can do. Yeah, exactly.
Well, it cuts in your neck a bit, doesn't it?
It does. Exactly. So you can take it off. But obviously, once you finish your manoeuvre, you've got to put it back on again. Yeah. Fantastic. So the next thing is mirrors.
Right.
Okay. What do you know about your mirrors?
What's for seeing behind you, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's let's see if I can remember this. This one's flat. My dad was telling me this. This one's flat. And I have to use this one to judge the distance people are away. These ones are curved and they make things look, I can't remember if it was further away or closer, but I haven't to depend on them.
Yeah.
For like distance things.
Basically, this is the mirror we use first, our interior mirror. Okay.
Right.
Well, like you said, perfect answer. It's flat glass. It gives a wilder field of vision. It gives us our true reflection of what's behind us.
Right, okay.
So we always have to check first in that mirror.
Stop. Rewind.
You've already done that. I know. I'm just sorry.
So it's all right. Just reset a little.
Okay.
So the answer I gave you
was enough.
You're probably not going to get that level of detail from a learner, but however, so just I know you're shortening what you're saying, but do you need to say anything there?
Right. Fair enough. Okay.
So
you're happy with the interior mirror, yeah?
Yeah, this one's for... My dad was telling me about this. This one's... I have to depend on this one if I want to judge the distance. These ones are curved glass, so they give me like a wider view, but it makes things look further away than they are.
Yeah, so that can be an issue, can't it, if you solely rely on them?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, so as I said, there's an acronym, as we've gone through. So it's DSSSM.
Right.
And it's kind of a logical order once you get into the car.
Right.
So it's doors, seat, steering, seat belt, mirrors. Okay. Obviously, earlier we checked the handbrake and the gear stick was in neutral.
Yeah.
What else do you think we need to do? Obviously, we're going to adjust the mirrors now.
All right. Yeah.
Because you've adjusted your seat and you've adjusted your thing.
Yeah.
So, do you know how to adjust the?
It's. I need to be able to see. Well, I can see all of that back window.
And it's framed off.
Yeah.
So you can see the entire mirror in you.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about your driver's and passenger side mirror?
On these ones, well, I've got I can see a little bit of the car, and I can see kind of behind me. So
Right.
I can see about that much car, and the rest I can see behind.
It's difficult to adjust them because obviously we're against a building. But generally, you should be able to see to the end of your car. You need to see about half ground, half sky.
All right.
Does that make any sense to you or not?
I think so. Having trouble visualising that.
Right. Okay. So it's difficult because we are obviously in a car park. What we can do is
Just take a moment.
Yeah.
And here's something about Rolf. We don't allow ourselves thinking time. Think about what I've just said to you.
It's hard to envisage what you're on about. So how do I make that better?
What have you got at your disposal that might help you with that?
Right. Okay. Yes.
Oh, you mean like that?
What do you mean like that? Yeah. I'm trying to break away from it.
I know, but that's okay.
I know. Yeah.
Just take a moment to think each time. Think, well, hang on. How can I help? Again, how can I help you? How can I best help?
I have a fantastic solution here, Bob, in the way of the presenter. Check this out. Okay. Basically, what I mean is, obviously, you've done your interior mirror, and you're happy with that.
I've got that one, yeah.
So you've got your driver's mirror and you've got your passenger's mirror.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So it should look a bit like that. You can see end of your vehicle, can't you? In this picture here.
Yeah,
and you should be able to see about half and half. If you need to adjust them, I dare say, this is not my vehicle, but they're probably electric. Right, okay. So obviously got handbrake and neutral. Once you turn the vehicle on.
Oh, yeah.
So basically, if you wish to turn the vehicle on, it's 3 clicks away and then release. Is that working?
Yeah, that seems alright, yeah.
Right, do you know how to adjust the other side?
Uh,
On to the left, lovely.
Yeah, that looks pretty much like that picture, I think. Actually, this one needs to go down a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, you happy?
Yeah.
Right, so do you know what we do after that? So after done this cockpit drill, what do you think we need to do? I mean, it's on here.
Oh, fuel.
Yeah, bang on, yeah.
I need the ignition on for that, don't I? Oh, there's loads of fuel in there.
Some cars, despite the fact you've got the engine on or off, they'll still show you. Other cars won't. Mine won't, and this won't. So as you can see now, it's reading nothing.
Yeah.
So it's saying it's empty. Yeah?
Yeah, so if I put the ignition on, then I can see it.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
So, but for that, how much fuel have you got?
About 3/4 of a tank.
Bang on. Yeah, fantastic. There you go. So that's your fuel. Okay. Any questions about that at all?
No.
Anything you're not happy about?
No, I think I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Let's just break out of there. So have a little review of that. How was that?
All right, but still trying to put a little bit too much more detail in.
Right, that's you wanted to listen better, and you'd marked yourself as a 3 before.
Yeah.
Mark yourself now.
Probably a 5.
Okay. What gave you the 5?
Because in between each individual piece I was talking about, I was trying to get what they understood, why they understood it, and then if they didn't understand it at all, I'm going to try and break it down further so that they understood totally and were happy.
What difference does that make to the way you feel when you're doing it?
In which respect, whether they've got it first time or not?
No, how are you feeling?
How am I feeling?
How are you doing?
How you doing? But I'm alright. I mean, as I say, it's easy to get into PST mode and try and rush through it all. I'm trying to break it down. Obviously, this is different. This is an hour's lesson, so we can take our time a bit more. And obviously, there are other consequences, other things, as with examiners, etc. And that. So I'm trying to relax a bit more, and I'm trying to do it. But I think anything that I'm trying to think about is don't miss something out in particular. Well, no, obviously, if you do, you're only human. You're going to get to a point where, so I've not mentioned steering. Why don't you put your hands on there? This is quite important.
So that's an interesting one to have a look at. In terms of, does it matter who the learner is that's sat next to you?
No, it shouldn't do. It should just matter purely what they know, what they're happy with.
So let's say it's a real live learner, you've missed something out. What do you think happens?
They won't do a particular thing, but as I'm watching them, you're going to go, right, 2 seconds. What about your steering? We got mentioned steering.
Oh,
Right. My fault.
Well, let's talk about that now.
Let's have a chat.
So, an examiner, how does it work with them?
Same.
So do we need a different approach? I think we do, but the examiner's just a learner.
Yeah.
He's playing the role of a learner.
Yeah.
He's not trying to trip you up, he's just being that learner. And if you've missed out steering on your brief, you'll think, all right,
Right.
okay, all right. But let's imagine you delivered the most perfect brief in the history of the world.
It doesn't mean anything.
Is he going to drive perfectly for the
No.
next 22 minutes?
No,
He's not,
is
is
he?
he?
No. Because he's already got in mind what he's going to do and what faults he's going to exploit. You either pick up on them or you don't.
So, delivering the perfect brief isn't necessarily that important.
No.
I mean, it's nice if you can.
What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the brief across, but I'm also trying to, like you said, turn it into questions. So everything I'm doing, I'm trying to A, gain what they know, B, educate them if necessary, but educate is probably a bad word.
Well,
But it
it'll
depends
do for
how
now.
much. Yeah, it depends how much they know. Obviously, if they don't know, then I suppose you are saying, right, okay, this is what I'm showing you, and then getting it, and then right, I've got that into them. Let's see what they've gained from that.
I love this one here. Ask. Where does that lead you?
Where does that
Why,
lead me?
danger, rectify, prevention?
That's a core competencies.
In my head, you could replace all that with help. How can I help you? What do you need from me? It's the same thing. You know, if they're making a mistake and they're not doing something right, they need help to fix it sometimes. So your job is to help them to see that they've made a mistake, not to tell them they've made a mistake. You made a mistake. Oh. You made that mistake again. Oh. You've made that mistake again. Oh.
It's
Rather
negative,
than,
isn't it?
Are you aware what's going on there? No, because he's doing it because he thinks it's all right.
Yeah.
A learner driver's doing it because they think it's all right. An examiner's doing it because he's deliberately making that fault. But you're not getting him to change what he's doing, and the fact that you keep telling him he's doing it makes no difference at all. So it's if you can get yourself into the mode of, how can I help you? And I think in my head the way that best works is if you just think about what's being said to you, process it, just give yourself that moment of clear blue thinking time. You've made a difference. And if I can, what I've observed is when we're doing this before, you seem to get, flustered's not the right way to describe it, but you seem to get quite animated, and you start to drop into what looks like a bit of a rush mode. Today it didn't look like that. Today you look much more calm, and it was more even paced. So I don't know if that's what's made the difference. Only you can tell. If that's what's made the difference, do more of that.
Yeah, I see both bits of it, and I can define the two, and I'm fighting off the other bit where I'm waffling, getting flustered, and getting annoyed with myself because I'm not getting myself across, which is, I know it's wrong, and I'm fighting off the other bit, and I can see that it's just making sure that I've got my own way of doing it, and I'm happy with doing that, and I'm serving the right purpose to the right person, and getting them driving.
We're on a journey.
On a journey.
It's been emotional, but we're on a journey here, and it's you know, we're helping them along their journey. That all sounds very grand and stuff, but that's what it's about. So what we need to do is to find ways of better helping this person on this journey.
Yeah.
So your listening skills improved, so you got up to a 5.
Right.
What would it take to get a higher score, do you think?
Well, that's the question. In whose mind? In mine or in yours?
In yours.
I know it's in mine, but
I'll agree with the score you gave yourself, and
No.
I'd be happy to mark it the same, but it doesn't matter what I think.
that's fine, right?
But I'll concur that, that's a definite improvement.
Yeah,
But only you can really decide, because it's no good me saying, that's very good, well done, I'll tick that box. Because
at the
then
end of the day, I'd like to be more comfortable with doing what I'm doing.
So
I feel with comfort, that's less stress,
Okay.
and then I can better put myself across, and then better deal with the situations at hand.
Okay. So what would serve you best from this point? Loads of options. And I think this can help as well, offering options for your learner when you say, what do you want to do? Oh, I don't know. Well, here's some choices to make.
Yeah.
You could rerun what we've just done.
Yeah.
I could play the same role. We could rerun what we've just done. I could play a different role. We could move on to do some other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You might come up with a suggestion of your own. Take a moment to think about that. Where do you think you want to go with it?
I wouldn't mind doing a bit of manoeuvres.
Okay. And what are we hoping to gain from that?
I'm hoping to develop the other side as opposed to the me spieling on with a massive brief. I'd like to develop the right. How do you think? You know, I'll keep you safe. How do you think you can do it? For the sake of argument, turn the road.
Okay.
Now you go through turn the road in a book or any book. It doesn't have to be this one. It can be any book, and it just throws people.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm checking from this direction to that direction, and obviously I'm already geared up to set off, and then I'm setting off, and my steering's going this way, and I'm thinking about, you know, the camber of the road going up, and then obviously I'm at the crown of the road, and then the camber road going down, and I'm steering to the right, and then just before I get there, I'm steering to the left, and then I'm changing my observations. I'm checking from the right all the way back across, and I'm looking behind me to reverse. I'd like to do it as per somebody doing it, and then I'd like to sort of fill in the gaps, but just get the actual element of it done, and then go, right, were we happy with that? Yeah, I was happy with it. Right, okay. Can we just put this into it and that into it? Just but not put, right, you're not checking observations all the way across there. You're not doing that.
Okay.
Could you have stayed more that way? Just trying to put a bit more in, and then seeing that goes. It might ruin it, it might not.
There's only one way of finding out,
Exactly.
and that's to do it. So what we'll do, we'll drive through an area, we'll use the turn on the road scenario,
Okay.
and we'll set it up the way you want to set it up. So
Okay.
in terms of, we'll get to a location, I'll take us somewhere where it's safe to do it, and where we've got plenty of room to do it, and where you would possibly take a first time attempt to do it. You can then decide what role you want me to play. Do you want me to be completely compliant? Do you want me to have tons of knowledge and be able to manage it first go on my own? So you're just having to ask questions? Do you want me to be a bit more narky? Do you want me to be... So have a think about that on the way over in terms of helping you develop.
Yeah.
Because I think, again, it's this idea that we need clear goals. But just to finish off the session we've done, if you were going to go through the rest of this stuff, how much do you think the learner that we've just had in our car will know about the stuff we're going to do?
If I'm honest with you, the learner's pretty switched on. They know quite a deal, regardless of not being in the driver's seat. So, for sake of argument, the next element of it is going through, you know, the foot controls and the hand controls. Oops, I'm gonna go. Right.
So your experience of
What
this
do you know
learner
about that? My experience with this learner so far is, I don't need to waffle as much. I don't need to put quite as much in, because we've already identified, you know, that the right hand pedal's a gas pedal, you know the middle pedal's a brake pedal, and you know the left hand pedal's a clutch pedal.
Is there anything else I know how to do that I've demonstrated?
Steering.
What else? Take a moment to think.
No, I can't. Alright, you can turn engine on. Yeah,
So I know how that works.
yeah.
I knew how to take the steering lock off.
I didn't see that, but yeah.
The steering lock was also, I took
Right.
that off.
Okay.
There we go. Oh yeah, that's 3/4. So well, I need the ignition on, so I know what the ignition is. So there's a reasonable level of knowledge, and as you've quite rightly identified, I'm probably not going to use much help.
No.
So how would you play that?
I would have played that. I'd simply be, for the sake of argument,
Go on then.
run the foot controls.
Yeah.
It's like, right, Bob, just going to go over the foot controls. I'm not going to massively go into it.
All right.
Because you seem pretty competent, to be honest with you. You happy with that?
Yeah, well, I think I know what they are. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like you earlier mentioned, you got your three pedals in front of you. So, again, you identified the accelerator, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you switch your foot, or ball of your foot to the brake.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know where the clutch is, don't you?
I do. Yeah.
And you're happy.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what the accelerator pedal does?
That's makes engine rev, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Go faster pedal.
Why does it do that?
It's enriching the mixture of air and fuel into the
Fantastic.
venturi in the carburetor.
Good answer. Yeah. Okay, what about the brake?
That's go slower pedal, isn't it?
Yeah. And how do we use it? Do you just go straight onto it?
Well, when I'm riding my bike, if I did that, I'd go with the handlebars, so I'd tend to squeeze them on my bike. Just start gently and bit more.
So would you know progressively? So would you associate it with that? So gradually?
Yeah.
Yeah, so similar thing there. Okay, clutch pedal.
That's for like moving off and stopping and changing gear, isn't it?
Yeah, and clutch control, manoeuvres. So how do you use that then?
That's well, to change gear on that, you have to have it all the way down. When you're moving off, you bring it up a bit,
And then go on to the gas.
Yeah, and then because that lets the power through the wheels, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So it's just you just kind of feel it, don't you?
Yeah.
I suppose.
Do you know how that works or not?
Yeah, there's two plates, isn't there?
Fantastic,
and when it's
yeah.
down, that's the plates apart. When it's all the way up, they're together.
Yeah.
When you're trying to get the car moving, it's
Fantastic,
just
lovely,
together.
lovely. Okay, obviously just something I mentioned, obviously brake pedal, what does it work on? How many wheels? Is it just the rear wheels?
No, it's all of them, that one, isn't it?
Yeah.
That one's just the back wheels, isn't it?
Yeah. But by pressing the brake pedal, what happens?
The car slows down.
It does. What else does it do?
I don't know. Oh yeah, brake lights, yeah.
It warns people.
Yeah.
So it's another form of
Oh
communication.
yeah, of course, yeah.
Fantastic, lovely.
All
Do you go to the hand controls?
No, it's fine.
Right.
How did that feel?
That good? Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, dealing with the people who's got a lot of a high level of knowledge, you didn't just skip over though. You picked up because it would have been easy there to go totally the other way and go, yeah, that's great. What else does it do? Don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know. So you've then gone, well, hang on, but you didn't tell me.
Yeah.
You're pointing it. So in
That's the
terms of
difference.
listening, mark that little bit.
7.
Okay, cool. How did it feel when you were doing it?
Stress-free.
Okay. That's not a bad place to be, is it? Stress-free.
No, that's
So-
where I want to be. I mean, I'm still having to think. It's not like I'm in this still moment of subconsciousness. I'm trying to be. But basically,
Is that it?
this Zen-like moment.
Start burning incense.
Yeah, but I'm still having to think. I'm going, right, if he misses this, what's he not going to get? Right, braking. Would you just slam on? Well, no, I'd probably just be like that, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So would that affect then? Wouldn't affect people behind us, wouldn't it? But obviously, you know, you can go on and on and on and on. You can put too much in. Well,
I think
just
it's-
a little bit.
We are seeking that Zen moment, if you like, that part where you've just got the thing just going bang, 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 bang. You've found a way of working with your pupil that works for you both. You've found a methodology of questioning that works for you. He's able to just take part in the conversation and everything just works beautifully. And of course, you're rolling along in that mode and then suddenly, bang, something changes it. So maintaining that state is difficult.
Yeah.
And it's a work in progress for absolutely all of us.
Yeah.
And in my reflections when I'm doing things, you go back and think, I could have done that a bit different because my part in that stopped it happening the way I wanted it to. So we do things with the best of intentions. But
And then you get frustrated yourself and you do using the conscious side of yourself and then...
well, I'm lucky that these days I'm able to pull myself out of it quickly.
Cool.
But that's just practice.
Yeah.
But I'm still having to do it.
Yeah.
And I still input when it's perhaps not needed. Spider in the dormer. Everybody has a spider in their dormer these days.
I've got 2 and I won't get rid of them because they're awesome.
But how does it stay there?
Good bloody
It's
size of that, though.
Oh, it's been there a while.
Like an Apache.
Must get a lot of flies in it. Anyway, that's an aside. So, what do you think it would take to get a higher score at that?
I think if I'm looking at that, it's not necessarily the outward appearance of whether I get a higher score or not. It's me, without going a bit too deep.
Oh, that's
it's
fine.
my own happiness towards me finding perfection. I do try and get perfection in everything I do, but obviously that has very negative consequences because if you don't quite get it, then you're very hard on yourself and you're like,
Yeah, I think it's...
and then that it's not necessarily good. It isn't necessarily, you're not going to get necessarily the best out of yourself if you're so harsh.
I think
but-
it's easy to chase that if the only variable is you.
yeah.
When the other variable is somebody else, you've got no control over
Well,
it.
exactly. Exactly. And then you've got the word control. Should it be control? Why are you striving control? What's it achieving? Do you need control? Other than the
that's it.
safety aspect of it,
Yeah.
other than that, how much do I really need to control a person I'm sat next to?
Sometimes a lot.
Right? Fair enough.
You do meet people that need a lot of help,
Other times,
but you meet people who need no help at all.
but you've got to have that definition, aren't you?
How can I help you get to where you need to be? If we're thinking that all the time, and I think another thing that's becoming clear to me, I think, and you can think about this, and we'll chat about it next time we meet. As you go, just give yourself that moment just to go, oh, hang on, right. But we somehow feel that we're not allowed that. I don't know why. I used to feel the same. We can't have silence. Silence is no good to anybody. Well, silence is a great teaching tool. It's thinking time, silence.
I think at the end of the day, obviously you've got different ways of teaching and learning, and obviously you can speak and 10-20% is possibly taken in, but you've no idea what's taken in. The presenter's a valuable tool because obviously it's quite visual and people get that, so it's say 20-40%.
Some people do, some people don't.
Yeah, but I guess it depends who you've got. I'm going to try and start, I'm not just talking, but using this and then getting them to, learn their own way of doing it, and then they've got it more so than they would do just by me talking. But obviously I'm going to give them that option because everybody's going to work slightly different, aren't they? Some people, no, I just want you to tell me. Fine, okay, well, we'll try this. Are you happy with that? Yeah. No, don't tell me, you're completely confusing me. Right, fine, give it a go. Right, you've got to put this on the end of it. All right, give that a go.
I suppose it's in my head it's the way to go, because what we're doing is we're picking and mixing to help the person get to where they need to be. I suppose it's the difference. If you just throw all the information at them, it's like getting a box of tennis balls and just dumping it on their head.
Yeah.
And it's the difference here is you're just holding the box out of them saying, pick a couple of balls out of that.
Yeah.
But they're making the choice.
Yeah. So how many balls you pick's up to you?
Yeah. And my job then is to, okay, so we've not got this yet. This might be useful to you. I'll hold that in reserve in case I need it. But just, is this working for you? What about this? What about that? And getting them to score themselves and review and reflect. That's where the learning takes place. It's in that little, okay, how did that go? Okay, the last time was a 5. What score is this? Well, that's a 7. Why is it a 7? Oh, because of this, this, and this. So they're the bits that worked. So I'll keep those. What bits didn't work? What was the other 3? Where were they missing? It was that, and that. So I'll work on them next time. And you're just building all the time. It just takes time. It's harder to do it under the pressure of the cameras as well, because I'm almost oblivious to them now.
It is.
They're part of my everyday life.
Obviously, I was quite, conscious about that playing all the time. I'm thinking, oh God, but at the end of the day, as much as people might want to think about me or whatever, I'm getting something out of this as well, because I'm then coming back to recollect what I've done and gone, what am I banging on about there? Why have I done that for too long? And I'm like, right, I could try and cut that out. And then I'm reflecting and going, how do I cut it out? Do I need that bit there? No. Shut up then. Just do that. Right.
Watching yourself on video is a great teaching tool. It's awkward to begin with. But I'll take us over to where we can do some a manoeuvre. We'll do it at a roll so you can relax.
Okay.
The one thing you should be having in this job is fun.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful way to make a living, helping people get to where they want to be.
And there's got to be an element of trust, hasn't there?
Yeah.
It's like I went to the doctor's the other day and had a chest infection, and the doctor says, take your trousers off. I've known him about 10 years, so I was like, well, why? So I said, well, where do I put them? He said, next to mine. It's at that point the trust broke, Bob.
Oh my word.
Sorry to throw that in there. But there's got to be trust, Bob,
Oh yeah. This is taking a disturbing turn.
Oh, it's my polluted mind, sorry.
So this is a location where we can
Okay.
we can do emergency stop.
Okay.
Emergency stop? What am I talking about?
Turning
the road.
That's me, that's it.
I'm still thinking about where am I going to put my trousers.
Oh, God.
Deary me. Right, so this is a location where we can do turn of the road.
Okay.
Switch everything off, get comfy. So, in terms of setting the thing up, how would you like to approach it to begin with?
I could go through the PST as I see it, or I could just simply say, would you like to have a go and see how we go from there?
Which way would you like me to play that?
I think a total beginner, and I'd like to do it ad hoc, just you doing it.
Okay.
The way you best find doing it. And then, if there's anything in particular, I'm going to mention it afterwards, but not going to try and pollute the way you're doing the learning process that you're getting out of it.
Okay.
I might try and put a little something at the end of it that you might wish to put in there, but I'm trying not to break the learning that you're trying to put in yourself.
Right.
That's the ultimate goal.
So if I was to play the role of a learner who's kind of been used to, with the last instructor, has been used to just having a go, and the instructor helped me if he felt I needed it,
Right.
would that suit the purposes of this exercise for you, do you think?
Yeah, that's fine, yeah.
Okay. And then we'll do it that way. My name's Bob.
In fact, I'm going to put this away.
Okay. I've been having lessons with another instructor, and he's poorly. He can't make it today, so your office is organised for you to do this lesson.
Okay.
We were about to do turning the road today. We said that's what we're going to do. So, over to you.
Okay. Hey, Bob.
Hiya.
I'm Clark.
Hi, well, hi, Clark.
How are you doing, you alright?
Not bad, not bad.
I understand your instructor's off.
Yeah, he's poorly, I think.
All right, I'm
Tummy
sorry
bug
to
or
hear
something
that.
like that. Yeah.
Right, but
Just hope I don't get it.
you got myself, so I'm happy about that. I hope you are.
Yeah.
Right. Are you happy still to do turning the road?
Yeah. I've been looking forward to this.
Right, okay. Right. We're here now. This is what I deem a suitable location, so it's got to be somewhere relatively quiet. You agree with that?
Yeah. We talked about that when we were doing the stuff we did last week. We did reversing and that, and it was all about making sure that you weren't inconveniencing people and stuff.
Yeah. What would be a better way for you to turn around if necessary?
I watch my dad, he bumps up on the path that side and then up on the path
All right.
that side.
Well, what I mean by that is, 9 times out of 10, why do we have to turn the car around? It might be a case of you might be lost. You're coming down a road and there's maybe the police have blocked it off for whatever reason, or there's maybe there's roadworks and you've got to turn around. Obviously, if you didn't know where you were going, that's what you're going to do. But obviously, a safer way of doing it is if you could find a roundabout.
Oh, right, yeah.
If you can find a roundabout,
right.
I'll find a roundabout and I'll go around this way. But can't do that today.
I thought you meant another manoeuvre, I suppose. Well, looking at that, the road gets a bit wider at the end. I might be spinning around there, couldn't it?
Yeah, you could do that. As I say, or you could attempt that. What do you want to do? Do you want to try turn the road here, or do you want to go down there and try to turn around there?
No, turn the road here.
You're happy to do this?
Yeah.
Right, okay. What other sort of factors do you think affects turning the car around?
Well, obviously, if there's people coming,
Yeah.
I'd have to kind of wait, wouldn't I?
Yeah, you would, yeah. We're quite vulnerable turning a car around. Other factors are, like you said, pedestrians, because despite pedestrians are on the path, they're still road users, aren't they?
Yeah.
All they've got to do is cross into the road, they're a road user.
That's true, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And we've got to give way to them. Other things are, look where we are now. What's your sort of zone of vision and what can you see?
I can see a reasonable distance behind and see up at the end of the road there.
Yeah.
Which is a cul-de-sac, by the way.
I was going to say, I don't know what's down there, so there could be something around the corner. Right.
There won't be anything there.
Fine, no probs. So, like you said, everything you said is fantastic. Obviously, this is slightly different to another situation you might be in for turning around. But something else you might want to contemplate is your zone of vision. So, if you're obscured by bushes or trees, would that be a good place?
All right.
Can people see you doing that? Or if there's people, for instance, in a park or something, are they going to see you turning around? Are they going to come flying out? Would you know they're there? Just things to think about.
Oh, I see. Well, I suppose here we're all right because that's like walled off and there's a fence all the way along there by the trees, so we should be safe here.
So I think it's a perfect place here. Ideally, it really is.
Cool.
Right then. So, would you like to? How can I help you? Would you like to just attempt it on your own? I can keep you safe, or would you like me to go through the presenter and explain it all to you?
Well, with my last instructor, he used to let me just have a go and then sort of fix it on the fly, kind of thing. I think.
That's fine.
Anything that I didn't get right.
The only thing I'm going to mention is, obviously, I'm going to keep you safe.
Right.
Is, what do you know about the roads? Do you realise there's a camber? Do you know what I mean by camber?
Oh, that's like where it's
like a runoff, a gradient, and you obviously realise if it's a runoff, it's obviously for water, for drainage.
Yeah.
Now, the only thing that's relevant, this is relatively flat road. Some roads have got more of a camber and more of a gradient than others, and all it does is it's going to affect us when we're doing our turn in the road. So, obviously we're going to be turning the vehicle around, so we're going to be going right.
Right.
So you're going to be going ever some, you know, the middle of the road's the crown, yeah? You're going to be slightly uphill and then slightly down. Now it's all right going to the right and up, but it's going to affect you when you're just going down, so the car can run away with it. So there's a chance, just to think about it, as you're coming down the road, the car might run away with you a bit, so you might have to go off your accelerator onto your brake. Just something to bear in mind.
Oh, it is down. It's quite a bit actually.
It's relatively flat, but you don't realise it. But there's the natural drainage, and that's why they do it.
It's when you look. It doesn't look so bad there, but when you look to the side here, it actually drops quite a bit, doesn't it?
You can see just down here, right up there. That's where the water drains off, like so. Just something to consider.
Yeah.
But as I say, I'm going to shut up now. Okay. I'm going to let you do it, and then once you finish your manoeuvre, basically we'll have a go through it. We'll review it. If there's anything we need to put into it extra, and we'll do. I'm not expecting you to know all the observations and the right places to look, etc. We can sort of fill in them gaps later on.
All right. Okay.
Okay. So are you happy to go from here now?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll give it a go then.
Just the same as when I'm pulling away normally, isn't it?
Yeah, it's curbside. If basically,
make sure there's nobody about.
If you just put it in neutral just for now. The nature of your question, we're curbside.
Yeah.
So rather than thinking, right, I've got to do left-hand check, left-hand mirror, interior ahead, right-hand mirror, right-hand check, you're going to do a scan.
Right.
So you're going to scan. Now, how would you get to know that you've got, basically, how do you know and you're happy that you can pull away?
I suppose if there's nobody about.
Right, but how would you do? How would you know? By physically looking?
Well, I'd have to look all round, wouldn't it?
All round observation.
Yeah.
So we check over your left shoulder.
Yeah, so I need a blind spot to know, because there's a bit on the path I can't see there.
Yeah, exactly. So checking all the way around. So you're going to scan right over your left shoulder, all the way around. Because the car will be prepared, and at that point, you're then going to set off. Once you've checked right over your right-hand shoulder, your blind spot check there. Yeah. And then you're going to move the vehicle across the road. Right. And obviously...
So I'll probably not bother with mirrors then?
Well,
if I'm looking all around,
you still check your mirrors because it still encompasses everything. Right. Obviously, do you know about blind spots?
Yeah.
You do. And obviously there's blind spots in the vehicle because we've got these pillars, haven't we?
Yeah.
So...
You can move your head a bit, can't you?
You can.
So it's just make sure there's nobody about then?
Make sure there's nobody around.
Yeah, happy with that.
And then, not to put too much into it, how are you going to get across, do you know? Or are you just going to try?
Well, I suppose
we'll just try. We'll just see what happens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So you can prepare the vehicle.
Around. Well, nobody about. That's a bit quick, isn't it? Oh, it does run away and all, doesn't it?
Yeah. Okay. So how are you going to hold that? Are you going to hold it on brake, or are you going to put your handbrake on?
What
do you think best suits you?
Yeah, if I let the brake go, it'll roll forward, won't it?
Yeah, exactly. Right then, so we're going to, what do you think now? Obviously, we're going to have to reverse. So where are we going to look from?
I'll need to look that way, won't I?
Yeah. So we check over our right shoulder first. And then sort of scan all the way around and then back over our left shoulder. Okay? And then which way we steer? What do you reckon?
Yes. Maybe could have...
See that curb coming up?
Oh, yeah.
Got a vehicle coming. Well, don't panic, that's fine. Now, if you look out your right-hand window, how far you're off that curb? Can you see that curb?
Maybe go back a bit more.
Yeah, a little bit more then. So a little bit of gas. Oh, so have you hit the curb?
No.
Doesn't necessarily matter if you do hit the curb.
No, it's further away than I thought.
Could be a point of learning to the point that you've gone back that far, and then next time we won't go back quite as far.
All right, okay.
Okay, so we're back in first gear. So what do we need to do from here then? So we're going to position ourselves back across there.
The steering's still this way a bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I have to pull it around a bit.
Are we going to do that while the car's static?
Yeah.
What's it going to do to the tyres and the steering if we do that?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, it's called It's gone now. It's going to damage the tyres, it's going to damage it. It's called dry steering.
I mean, you should have told me about that last week.
Okay, so don't
It's
panic.
scrubbing it, isn't it?
Don't panic. Get your clutch control,
Yeah.
and think about the speed you're going to do it at. So obviously, the slower you're going to do it, the more time you're going to have to think. The faster you do it, the less time you're going to have time to think.
Right.
The less time you're going to have chance to steering. And chances are, it might take a bit longer to get round this road. And if you're feeling a bit pressurised by that, that's then not going to work in your favour, is it?
Ah, right, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Okay.
so... Well, I've done the steering now, but... Yeah, so I would have had to, like...
Yeah, but as I say, you don't necessarily have to do that, okay? And then we're going to pull over, so what we're doing. Alright, how's that?
Alright. Better all. How was that?
Alright, not too bad. Spilling a little bit too much, more than I wanted to.
Okay, talk me through it.
Okay. Initially started well. Obviously I mentioned the location, but I'm trying to extract that out with you.
Okay.
I mentioned the purpose of why we do it, but I also mentioned the fact that for safety reasons, for sake of argument, you know, if you could find a safer method of doing it, you know, roundabout, etc. Because obviously, turning the road, you're vulnerable. I've then tried to let you get on with it, and I've tried to input things as you're driving, but I'm trying not to put too much in because you're doing a manoeuvre. So you're already thinking about it, whether you're going to tell me or not, but I know you're thinking about how to do it because you're naturally going to think about it, because you're thinking, well, what am I going to do? I'm going to go right, what am I going to do with that? So you're in that process of thinking. So I don't want to put too much in because I'm going to cloud that puddle, and then that's ruined then.
Okay.
And then I've just inputted a few little bits here and there just to finish off. There's an awful lot more I could have put in, an awful lot more, but by doing so I think it would have been detrimental, and it would have ruined the actual process of you doing that.
So I mean, obviously I've played a fairly compliant learner here. That's
Yeah,
you know,
very much so, yeah. You
but,
could have been right up the curb, you could have been up the thingy.
But have you got me to where I needed to be?
Yeah,
Have you helped me to do what I needed to do?
yeah.
Could you have... I mean, if you're going to, again, mark it 1 to 10, where do you think that was?
That's about 6.
Okay. What would it take to get a higher mark?
This word clarity,
Okay.
and obviously through experience I'm going to get better at it each time, but
Okay, so...
better questions and answers, and obviously better results by the individual, the person that's doing it. But I don't think you struggled in any way.
No.
You know, I didn't mention your speed. I could have gone, what speed do you think you do this manoeuvre at? I could have chucked loads of things. Well, what speed do you think? Well, it should be a walking pace, shouldn't it? Oh, I don't know. I could have chucked all these things, but I thought the actual movement itself is the important bit, and it's the bit where people go awry. So if you try and then go, right, we're actually curbside now, your observation's this way, and then obviously prepare the vehicle and you're going across there. What speed are you doing? Right, you're up to Crannock Road, now you're going across, what are you going to do now? Oh, I've just thinking about steering the other way, when you're going to do that. So it's like, no, you've mashed my head before we begin.
Right.
So I'm trying to avoid that and just put little bits in.
So the analogy we used before was the box of tennis balls, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Dumping stuff.
Yeah.
So in terms of this learner,
Right.
based on what you already know about him and the little discussions we've had, how might you be more effective at helping me without you doing the work?
I think the simple way of doing that is just to see what you can do.
Okay.
I have to be obviously the most important thing is obviously safety, that's paramount. But I've already said to you that I am watching, I am looking, and if in an event something's going to happen, as in somebody comes along, we've got to give way, I'll stop the vehicle, and I was prepared to do that. But obviously if I put a little bit too much in, it might not be necessary.
There's still a little, I mean, it's lovely, great stuff. There's still a little bit of guesswork as to how much you need to put in, it feels.
It feels that to me, to be honest.
How can you change that?
How can I change it? By doing it numerous times to numerous people, but other than
Possibly.
that...
But let's assume with this learner, with exactly the same scenario at the starting point, how can you change the level of input required by you?
I think what I could have done is, as we've pulled over and found our suitable location, gone, right, talk to me before we do this. how you'd go through it. How would you turn this car around? Just explain. Just a dry run. I want you to imagine we're here now, but I want you to imagine you're setting off and you're going to turn this vehicle round, but you're going to explain how you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll give you what you need.
Yeah, it does.
And then what you got to do while I talk you through that.
I'm then going to put in a few little bits here and there.
Well, Miss Patel.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go right, and I've got to turn around. Yep. Okay. Are you steering while you're static? Yeah. Why? Oh, because I need to turn around and it's quite sharp. Right. Okay. Well, you might damage your tyres and your steering. Right. Okay. What else could you do? Oh well, I'll just go a bit slower. Right. Would that help you then? Would that give you time to think as well, so you're not panicking as much? Yeah, it would.
So I think establishing the start point is possibly
The most important. Yeah.
What do I know? Just recall the conversation we had. What have I done that's going to help me do this?
Right.
I've told you. What was it?
I've lost it. I can't
You asked me
remember.
about location.
Yeah.
What was my response?
You knew the area. You knew what was down bottom.
Yeah. But
So
we
you know.
also, I said, oh yeah, talked about that on my last lesson when I did my reversing.
Right. So, not necessarily.
So what do I need to? What do I know how to do?
Right.
Possibly. You don't know for sure, but I probably know about observation. I probably know about controlling the speed of the car. I might know about cambers.
It's like, I guess it's like anything. It's like, just because the other instructor's gone through everything, have they gone through everything exactly? But does the exact matter? And what has he missed out? And what does it matter? Where can you fill in that gap if necessary?
How can you find out? More importantly, how can you find out where the gap is?
Yeah, exactly.
So you might play it something along the lines of, and this is just, it's not a show I'm clever, it's just by way of saying, so, turning the road, you're happy to do that today? Yeah. What have you done so far you think that might help you with this? I'm not really sure. Have you done reversing? Yeah. Well, how did you control the speed of the car there? Well, how to be really slow to walk pace. How did you do that? Well, with clutch control. Or I might say, well, I've reversed. How's that similar to this one? It's all about slow speed and fast steering, isn't it?
So why is it about slow steering?
So
why is it
how
a
are you going to
walking
apply that
pace?
here?
Yeah.
Is there, looking at the lay of the land here, what's different about what we're doing here? Well, I don't know. What can you see how the road rises? Or what's different about what you're doing here? Oh, it's uphill and then down and there's the road.
I mean, I felt that necessary to mention it. It's
Well, that's
essential. So simply for the fact that people don't realise that concept. As simple as it is, it's for runoff. And it doesn't really become apparent
Now, we're
until you go
assuming-
right and then go, oh!
We're assuming that I don't know.
Ah, right, yeah. There is that.
You need to know what I know.
Yeah.
You don't know. It's an age-old poem, Soren Kierkegaard. Before you can help somebody, you need to know more than they know. Knowing more won't help you, though. You need to understand what they understand. So you need to know what I know. Not assume anything. On the exam, I'll make a mug of you if I'm the examiner in role.
Yeah.
You start assuming, I'll be all over you.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
just say, okay, tell me what you know about this. Nothing. All right, then. Let me explain. Tell me what you know about this. Well, it's a bit similar to me manoeuvring. And it's that camber thing. I've heard about that. Yeah, the road runs away. What will you do about that? So consider the location. What's going to affect you here?
How is it going to affect you? Like, well,
Tell
I'll
me
be
what
all
you
right
think
going
you
there,
do.
but if I'm going down, I suppose I have to brake, won't I?
Yeah. So, and then, how much steering do you think you're going to need? Loads.
Yeah.
So how are you going to help yourself get lots of steering on? Will I go slower? Let's try that and see how it works. So you're establishing the start point, and it'll help you to help them.
Yeah.
But you're not emptying the box of tennis balls like you think, well, hang on a minute.
Because there's no way of, you're just like, well, that's it. It's like,
Yeah. Well, it's like learning to juggle. Everybody can do it with one, and then two. Everybody can do it with two.
yeah.
You introduce a third one, it's like rules.
Yeah, no.
But it's very simple once you work out what's going on, and you're just doing what you did with the two. You just got another one on the go. That's a poor analogy. But what do I know? What experience do I already have? I may never have done this, but I've done a reverse in a straight line. I've done a reverse around the corner. There'll be something I've done. Remember when you were moving off and stopping? When you were regulating the speed moving forward, how fast do you think you're going to have to go here? Oh, pretty slow.
You're in reverse. We went through it a while ago. Do you remember? How fast can you go in reverse? Oh, about 0 to 10 in it. Right, so what do you think you're going to be doing? What's the maximum you think you'll be doing for this manoeuvre? Do you need to be going that fast? No. Right, okay.
So do you want to rerun that?
Yeah,
scenario?
give it a go, yeah.
Same introduction, blah, blah, blah. Morning, blah, blah. Happy to do it? Yes.
Right, okay.
You'd roll.
All right. Obviously, we've done our handshakes, etc. Right then, Bob. I understand your instructor's off, is that right?
That's right, it's poorly.
Okay, no problem.
Tummy bug or something.
Ah, right, nasty. Okay, I understand you're going to do turning the road, is that right?
That's right, yeah, that's what he said we were doing today.
Right. What have you previously done that could sort of relate to this lesson, do you think, or do you not know?
Well, I suppose it's like a turnaround exercise, isn't it? So we did reverse it last week.
Did you? And what relevance to that do you think we could maybe bring to this situation? What do you reckon?
Well, I suppose we're going to have to move slow, aren't we?
Yeah.
So clutch control, I suppose.
Yeah. So clutch control, speed,
Yeah.
accuracy.
Yeah.
Think that comes into it.
Well, I've done that before. That was like round the corner, but I seem to remember I had to go awfully slow to stay accurate.
Yeah. Well, same way we're gonna be performing this at a slow speed. Yeah. Are you happy with the area? You said, I believe. Do you know the area at all?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I've got a vague idea. But you know that we talked last week about what was it? Location. And it had to be legal and safe, and not putting anybody out.
Yeah.
And you hadn't to break any laws. Is that the same with this?
Yeah. No matter where you pull up, it's got to be safe, legally convenient.
Right.
You understand that, don't you?
Yeah, I think so.
You've got a full understanding of that last time.
Yeah.
I can go through it if you wish you don't understand.
No, it's fine. You totally explained that to me last week.
Yeah,
So
your locations, it's important because obviously we're vulnerable, aren't we?
Yeah.
Because we're turning car around, aren't we?
Well, yeah, we're in the way, aren't we, I suppose?
Yeah. So basically, we're going to turn the vehicle around. If we get a car coming from this direction or a car coming from that direction, we're vulnerable. Yeah. So we've got to think about the location. Obviously, as you went through it last week.
Yeah.
All the parameters. So
it's all the no yellow lanes and not next to driveways, not near junctions, not on a bend.
Yeah.
Not next to crossroads, that sort of stuff.
got to think about. Is it, for sake of argument, could we pack this to a school field when kids are off? Would that be a good idea? Ball comes tear out, comes flying across.
No.
There's all these different situations.
I think we're all right here, though, aren't we?
Now we're fine.
Fenced off on both sides, really.
Either way, I'm going to keep you safe.
Okay.
And what we're going to do is to turn in the road. Now, before we do that, I'm just going to mention the road itself.
Okay.
Are you aware of the road, as in the crown of the road, and are you aware that there's a runoff stroke gradient either side of it? Do you know about that or not?
Crown? No, I'm not.
The crown's essentially the middle of the road. You know where generally they put the stripes. Not always. Some roads don't have stripes. But in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
So that's the highest part of the road, and then either side you've got a gradient, which is basically a runoff.
Oh yeah.
You notice that?
Well, I hadn't until now. No.
Do you know what that's for?
That's maybe make the water run away.
Yeah, it is perfect. Yeah. Do you know why that's relevant to this lesson?
Well, yeah, we're going over that way, aren't we? So I suppose that's going to be might make it harder to control the speed.
Right. So on your clutch control, you'll be going slightly up. Do you reckon?
Yeah.
And when you get to the top,
or downhill. That's
downhill.
Yeah.
So what would you need to do then? Would you keep the same amount of acceleration on?
No, I'd probably have to come off the gas and use the brake, wouldn't I?
Yeah. What we're going to do is I'm going to let you turn the vehicle around. I'm going to keep us safe. But before we do that, we're going to have a bit of a dry run.
All right.
Are you happy with that?
Yeah.
What we're going to do is, how would you turn this vehicle around so it was the other way, in your own words? What do you think's the first thing you'd sort of do?
I'd make sure it was safe.
Right. Okay.
Check all around, make up. The last insurance I had to be able to stake my life on the fact that there was nobody about.
Yeah.
So I'd have a proper look, not just turning my head.
So what's your definition of a proper look then?
Through the back window, that window, that window, that
Oh,
window.
like a scan all the way around.
Yeah.
And then you prepare the vehicle.
Yeah.
As you've done that, so when you could set off, you could set off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, what I did last time was we had that look first to make sure it was, we're okay, we can do it.
Okay.
Then I got ready, and then I did it again, just to be sure.
That's fine.
Check.
Yeah, we can do that if you want. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'd be in first, obviously. Set the gas.
Yep.
Find the bait. Not too much because I don't want the car to shoot off.
Yep. What sort of speed do you reckon we're doing? Do you think that's relevant in this situation?
Well, last week when we reversing, I was a bit quick to begin with, and I was all over the shop.
Right.
So
did that affect your control in that situation?
Oh God, yeah.
Right.
So slow.
Right.
I don't know, 1 mile an hour.
Yeah. So by doing it slower, do you think that's going to give you more time to think?
Oh yeah.
Right. Okay. So
And
we'll
to
do
spot
that.
stuff, I know.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So then I suppose I'll need to. I'm going to need a lot of steering, aren't I?
Yeah.
So
When are you going to start steering?
as soon as I can, I suppose.
Would you start steering now? Before you
that's
set
that
off?
dry steering.
Yeah, fantastic.
I got
Lovely.
told
Good
off for that
answer.
last week.
Good answer.
So I need to get it on as quick as I could,
Uh huh.
and get it, well, I suppose, reasonably close to the curb.
Yeah. So let's for the sake of argument, you've gone up.
Yeah.
You're coming down. You know you're coming down, so you're not going to put the accelerator quite as much.
Oh, you're on a brake a bit, yeah.
So how do
Check
you know? How do you know that you're going to be to the edge of the curb? How do you know you're far across enough?
Bit of guesswork, I suppose.
Right. Okay. So from that situation, what we're going to
Just
do?
judge it, I suppose.
Yeah, that's fair enough. What we're going to do from there then?
Well, I'm on a hill, aren't I? So I'm probably going to need a handbrake.
So we're facing this way. So we're facing down.
Yeah.
So yeah, handbrake on. Because obviously you've got your feet in the pedals, haven't you?
Yeah. Well,
So-
is that all right? I was just working my mind through it as I do it.
No, that's fine. Absolutely
Go
fine.
into reverse.
You put it into a. For the sake of argument, if you try to do it on clutch control, you don't quite get it because you haven't got enough time because you're right across.
Yeah, so I need
You
a
might surge
handbrake.
forward, so handbrake's probably a good idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, so on handbrake, so we're going to put it into reverse.
Yeah. We'll look around again, make sure there's nobody coming.
Yeah, where are we looking? Because we're
All
reversing.
round again before
Yeah.
we start, and then backwards.
Fantastic, yeah.
And then I'd bring it. Okay, we're uphill again, aren't we?
Yeah, so a bit more gas because you're going up.
If
And
I
then what's
remember
happening?
right, last week the car went quicker in reverse than it does in first.
Right, okay.
So I had to. I mean, I've got it now. I think.
Got to
but I had
gauge it a bit.
Yeah.
You're going to initially have a little bit more gas on than normally just to get away from where you are because
The
you're
instructor
slightly down the
said
line.
something about the reverse gear was a lower gear than first. Had more like oomph.
It's got more power, yeah. Like you saw the other week, not breaking out of this. You had a bit too much gas on then, and it was.
Yeah, I was
that
all over
affects
the
your
shop.
control,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
it did. So I was nice and slow if I can.
Yeah.
And then I'll need to come like this way.
So how are you going to do that with your
I
steering?
need to steer around the other way, don't I?
Yeah, so you're steering around to the left. Okay.
And
Looking
then,
out of the rear.
Yeah. And then when I get sort of this side, I'm downhill again, won't I?
Yeah. So what are you going to bear in mind then if you're going downhill?
It's going to run away, isn't it?
So what are you gonna do?
Clutch down and maybe brake.
Yeah. And then what are you going to do from there?
Handbrake.
Yeah,
Car
fantastic.
still. Check all round.
Yeah.
And then
Which way are you going?
into first. Yeah.
Right.
And then forward and hopefully round in 3.
Yeah. Does it have to be round in 3?
No, you get. My mate had it on his test and it took him 5.
Right.
And
Did he
didn't-
fail it?
No, he didn't. No.
No?
Well, he did fail, but he didn't fail on turning the road.
Right. Okay.
Okay, had a roll. How was that?
All right. Yeah.
Okay. You didn't fall into the trap when I sat quiet all the time.
No.
Why didn't you interrupt?
Because you're thinking.
How do you know I was thinking?
Because you were quiet.
Was
I was
anything
watching
else?
you.
Was there anything else that told you I was thinking?
You were umming and ahhing. You were going, yeah. Oh, hang on a minute. Yeah. Mannerisms, body language,
You know how to pick
noises.
it up. Yeah. You knew instinctively that's what I'm doing.
And I knew if I jumped in there, I'm then going to stop that process and you're going to go off. I was halfway across now, in my head.
I had it.
You broke that now. I'll start over again, and then you're pissed off, and it's like, right.
These are skills that you have hardwired into you. So use them. You can clearly see I'm just working it out. If I couldn't work it out, I'd go, I don't know.
I've lost it.
No.
Right, okay.
Not sure, mate.
Where
Not
were
sure.
you? I was across here. Right, think now. You've got to reverse what you're going to do. Well, I'm going to put it in reverse. Right, then what are you going to do? Well, I've got to check, I suppose, haven't I? Why have you got to check? Well, because there's people around and there's traffic. Right, okay.
So I think what we need to do, is to start tapping more into these kind of things. Like, let's say I've just explained to you. Ask me if I'm happy to do it.
Okay. Are you happy to give that a go?
Yeah.
If you want, I'm going to keep us safe regardless.
Why are you adding something there? What is it you've just found out about me?
Nothing, because you went, I was just about to say,
Am
I can
happy?
have.
Am I happy?
Yeah, I can give you a little bit if you want. Do you want a bit, Bob?
Yeah, but...
Not like that, Bob, that's wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Oh!
Going back to the doctors now. That's your trailer fault.
It wasn't till now. but you instinctively picked up on something
Yeah.
that I wasn't really...
And I'm like, I'm having that.
Well, no, it's fine. It's fine,
Yeah.
but how did you know? Start thinking about these
Facial
things.
expression.
That's right.
You're like, I'm embarrassed to say, but my face is saying I'm a bit lost here. I haven't physically told you because I feel embarrassed about it.
Ask me the question again.
Right. Are you happy to do that?
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Okay.
You know the difference.
Yeah.
That's what we need to tap into.
Yeah.
You can read people.
Yeah.
We can all read people. Let's start reading people. How do you think an examiner's going to react? You happy to have a go with that? Yeah, I think
He's
so.
going to go one way or another.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Or he's going to go, I'll give it a go, but would you mind putting a little bit on here and there? All right. Okay. That's fine.
How's that working for you? Oh, not very well. Do you want to change the level of support?
Yeah.
You would
Can you talk me through
naturally
it?
do that if we didn't clutter your mind up with all this nonsense. You'd just help another person. We instinctively know how to react to other people. It's hardwired in us. It's inbuilt. We know how to do it. You're picking up on these little nuances. Use them.
Yeah.
That's the real skill. That's what it's about. It's about reading people and thinking, is what I'm doing effective here? How can I help this person better? Sometimes you need to ask, sometimes you just instinctively know. But there's these little things that come through. Something that Darren said yesterday. He said, I knew you weren't going to check that left-hand door. How could you know that? How could you know I wasn't going to check that left-hand door?
Just
That's
simply
what
by
told
your
you that.
mannerisms.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
So he said, you took a real long look in the middle mirror first. Of course I did, because I'm about to change position and not check that mirror. So I'm going to make sure I'm safe.
Oh, making sure.
I had a blooming good look in that one and all.
Yeah.
Let me make absolutely certain there's nobody here before I move over without checking that mirror, because I've got to make sure we're safe. But he picked up on that. And of course you do, because we're tuned into other people. So, how was that one?
I thought that was better.
Okay. What was better about it?
I had more time to think. I purely went off what you gave me, and then rather than trying to recoil everything, I just tried to give you that relevant file and then drop it there. And if you picked up on that and got that, then fair enough. If you didn't, I might chuck in another question and go, alright then, will that be relevant to that situation? Oh yeah, I'm reversing now, aren't I? So yeah, I'd have to look through a rear windscreen, wouldn't I? Because you're off in that direction, aren't you? Because if you're going forwards, you're looking forwards, aren't you? But if you're going backwards, you've got to look backwards, aren't you? Is that right? Yeah. Well, yeah, it is, yeah. Right, what do you do now? Oh, all right, well, okay, well, think about my gas, won't I? Right, okay. How much gas are you putting on? So, yeah.
So you're asking questions that are relevant. You're not getting bogged in a ton of detail.
Mm-hmm.
You're listening to the answer.
Yeah.
Sat in thoughtful mode thinking, all right, okay, what can I do with that information? Okay, based on that, what about this, what about that? Now, the one thing we don't allow ourselves on this exam that we sit is time.
Yeah. So
We
that's
rush ourselves.
That's apparent, very much so, yeah.
We rush ourselves in it. Oh God, I've got all this to do. And
You're like a wound-up duck, it's like that. Yeah. Off you go, off you go.
Yeah. Except there's perpetual motion. You cannot stop. The spring never winds down.
No, it's that till the very end, till you get back in test centre and he goes, and you go, ah!
So, these are things you can be practicing with your learners.
Yeah.
Your technical knowledge is tremendous.
Thank you.
You've obviously put a ton of work into that. And I know it's possibly slightly disappointing to say, I know you've done all that work, but yeah, forget some of that now.
If I'm honest with you, I find it quite refreshing. I like a challenge anyway. I've gone through all this process and there's nothing wrong with the process. Perhaps my own perception of it was wrong and I thought I had to digest everything I've got But in the long run, that's going to help me out no matter what. But what it doesn't help out is how to put that across, and then how to gauge how I'm doing, and then how to make the person sat next to me, you know, make them learn, make them progress on their own. It doesn't give me that.
Well, I think the key thing, and it doesn't matter who the learner is, whether it's an examiner, whether it's me in role, whether it's a Part 2 candidate, whether it's a fleet driver, whether it's a learner driver. If you're just taking the time to review, is this helping? Is this working? What else could I do? What else might I do to help you? Is this working for you? It has to work, because I mean, you know, I was very compliant all the way through there. You're not getting, because life it doesn't suffer from inertia. Life, it doesn't move along the same all the time, and things do change. So as long as you can bounce around with it and you find it out, is that working? It's got to be effective.
Yeah,
it has to be. It just seems so clear to me. Hopefully you'll be able to take that and use it. Can you see how maybe you would use that with your learners to?
I've used a bit of it, as I say, with a particular person, and I saw that they had quite a lot of potential in them anyway. So I just shut up. It's like, I'm not going to pollute your learning process. I could see that she was on it. She's like, like this perception. You're like, I know what you're going to do. I could read that she wasn't going to have an issue. She didn't. Yeah, there was things she wasn't doing, like grab onto the steering wheel, that'd be a bonus. But other than that, she went, right, clutch control, so that's that and that, right. Oh, we're starting to move now. Right, okay. I'll take handbrake off we go. What are you going to do now? Oh yeah, I better steer. That'd be an idea. Where are you looking? I'm looking ahead. Right, okay. Ready to stop? What are you stopping with? Stopping with brake. Clutch down. Right, jump out of the car, and I took it back, and I said, and it was, but naturally.
Sometimes you can take discovery learning to its nth degree and just say, okay, have you got a clear idea in your mind how you might do this? Yeah, crack on then.
Yeah.
You might not want. I mean, that's not something I would advocate on a Part 3 exam, but
no,
it's if we.
But
just,
you can take elements out, can't you?
Of course you can. If we wrap ourselves around the individual learner, it has to work. It has to.
Because you're catering for that person, rather than going for this entire thing. You can go for that entire thing, but like you say, even if it's perfect, is he going to go? Yeah, you've told me that. You've told me about pedestrian refuges. You've told me about continental crossroads. Am I going to come up to him? Am I going to behave in that way? No. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. If you don't pot it, that's it. You do.
So, in terms of potential way forward for our next session, what do you think we're? You're not committing to it. It's just a provisional plan.
As I say, I want to very much go through all the PSTs, kind of like this. I want to go through in the kind of traditional way, so my brief's right, but I want to sort of break out of the brief. I want to find my own way of doing it, but make it more so question and answers, cater it to the actual individual, and go, right, for sake of argument, left-hand reverse. Well, not even left-hand reverse. Reversing is difficult to anybody that's initially starting it. It is difficult. I'm going backwards here. Do you realise I'm going backwards? You are, yeah, you're reversing. I don't like this. I like going forwards. I don't like going backwards. People do, they go, oh.
They worry about it.
Right-hand reverse.
All their friends talk about it.
Look at a right-hand reverse to a left-hand reverse. You feel pressure reversing on a corner anyway, but a right-hand reverse, you're in that set of traffic. You're on the side of the road with the cars. That more pressure builds. You think, oh God.
I think we make manoeuvring sound hard. I don't think learners think it's hard at all.
Right.
I think they hear from their friends that it's hard, but that's because their instructor told them it was hard. If you just put somebody in their natural state and say, do you want to have a go at this? We had it with Danielle. I was driving her home, cameras were off. And she said, oh, these manoeuvre things, I'm happy to do manoeuvres, but that reverse part looks hard. And I just pulled up alongside the car and I went, oh, let's find out how hard it is. Talk me through this. Tell me how to do it. It's going to instruct me. What? Instruct me? Go on.
They just go like that.
I'll only do what you tell me to do. And she taught me through it, and I just did what she said. I went slow to make it easy. I said, right, so is it hard? She went, well, it's a piece of cake, that, isn't it? Can I do that next time? And she nailed it.
Fantastic, that's brilliant.
No instruction, mind. She nailed it.
Yeah.
So how hard is it? We make far too many assumptions in this game. Far too many. Especially about our learners. We believe that our learners are stupid. Well, maybe we don't think that, but we don't think they're capable of the things that they're actually capable of. And they're capable of a great deal.
Maybe it's just a case of we don't give them a chance to show us what they truly could possibly achieve.
That's right.
So it's just like, There's no way. I'm looking at you. I've got you in this little box. This is what I think about you. There's no way on earth you're going to get around this corner. Am I not? Give me a go.
Because you're clearly a numpty and you can't do it without my help.
Yeah. And it's straight away.
So, in terms of the PSTs, I mean, we could run through them, or we could just do lesson subjects. The way that we can vary it is by me playing different roles.
Yeah, that's fine.
You know, totally compliant,
Not
mostly
compliant at all. Yeah.
total numpty. You know, that has an attitude.
Yeah.
Somebody who knows absolutely nothing or won't take part in the processes, which is everybody knows something, but they're just refusing to engage.
And then you're going to have the opposite end of the spectrum. You can have somebody to say, no, I think it's this.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's this. No, I don't feel you're right there, mate.
Yeah.
No, it's that.
That seems like rubbish. That's nonsense. And then, of course, you've got the thing, well, look, try it my way, let's see. Just try this one.
Just try it your way.
And then
let's have a go my way.
They'll be like, oh.
Oh, right, yeah. Maybe.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but in light of that, right, okay.
Yeah. So, good. Good
Cool.
stuff.
Thanks, Bob.